Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. You have reached Healing Body, Mind, and Soul, and I'm your host, Aeriol Asher. Today, I have the honor and privilege of being with my friend, colleague, mentor, soul sister, Aimee. And Aimee is just absolutely wonderful. I know her on a lot of different levels, most of which is in this lifetime. I'm setting them up for fun. And I have had the honor of speaking in her community. And she's just amazing. She's a great model of empowered leadership. And she is a holistic mentor and teacher. And I'm sure that all of our listeners are going to want to lean in and get a juicy nugget from Aimee today. Aimee, thank you so much for being here with us.
Such a total pleasure. I'm absolutely delighted. Thank you, Aeriol.
Wonderful. I would love for you to just take a moment and tell us about who you are and what kind of work you do.
Great. So, I like to start this way because my clients report that knowing that I have such a powerful business background, as well as in metaphysics, it actually helps my work be more grounded in the practical. It's spiritual, work, but obviously we're not doing it all for the afterlife. We're doing it for here and now.
Yeah.
And so my background in corporate included executive positions in Charles Schwab, Citibank, Omega Performance, an international training company. And then I was also a partner in a multimedia business before ultimately just following the advice of my guides. I'm sure we'll get into that story at some point, how I got out and into full-time working with my own business. But I have been interested in metaphysics. I have to say, I'm aware that even at 4 years old, the words that were coming out of my mouth and reported to me later in life, they had no business coming out of a 4-year-old's mouth. At 19, I got onto the spiritual path and became a teacher of transcendental meditation. Lucky enough to be right time, right place to get all the advanced techniques. If ever I had thought I was only a body, that was the absolute end of that belief, because learning to levitate was an experience, I'll never, ever forget. And then I realized that due to childhood abuse, I was more comfortable being out of my body than in my body. And so I knew that this lifetime was very, very important for me to be comfortable and relaxed in my own skin and my own body. And that led me to learning all about the energy management curriculum, in particular, heart-centered grounding, which has formed, the basis of my personal and professional life. And most recently, for the past 10 years, I've been the co-founder of What Truly Matters, Living Life Consciously. And in that business, we teach live events, we teach online programs, we do individual sessions with people, both my business partner, Karen Renee Holseth, and I together, and also individually. And what makes us really, truly different, I believe, is that we have the great good fortune this lifetime to share purpose with our 20 Ascended Master Guides. And they channel their wisdom and healing energy through our hands and through our words, which is quite exciting for clients, because you never get a cookie cutter response.
Right.
You know, we're able to connect with the soul and to channel suggestions, never telling anybody what to do. The guides always have considerations for you to mull over and see if you resonate with them. So that's what I've been doing for the past more than 10 years now, and never looked back, really. Never looked back. Have done some metaphysical work with businesses, but I see our purpose primarily working with those people who are aware of this opportunity that we're being given on Earth, the shift of the ages, as I call it. And there are a whole bunch of incredible light workers on the planet. You could call them light workers. You could call them front runners. You know, this is the group that really has a most unbelievable opportunity this lifetime, an opportunity we haven't had for more than 12,000 years.
I'm calling us empowered leaders at this time. That's my favorite phrase. It's my favorite catchphrase at the moment, and what my guides are bringing to me. I want to thank you so much, because I want to really underline the fact, and I want you to know as well. You know, I've been studying with Aimee and Karen in their self-mastery program for over a year now. I chose to stay on with the group. And even though I've studied metaphysics my whole life, having the group experience was very, very important for me, because I'm a little bit of a lone wolf. That's kind of in my chart. I'm not trying to, I'm not bragging, or, you know, it has upside and downside being having that leadership and having that kind of drive.
Yes.
But I have really enjoyed being in the whole group setting and running the energy in a group setting. It has catapulted and supercharged what I was already doing and how I was being and showing up spiritually. So first of all, I want to thank you. And I want to say that because I want to underline for our listeners that those programs are available online. And part of my reasoning for doing the Empowered Self-Care anthology book is because of my experience in this group and really believing in the co-creative process at this time, and the collaborative opportunity that these forerunners and light workers like ourselves have to make an impact and to elevate consciousness on the planet. Anyway, so I just want to thank you, because you inspired so much. And I know that you and Karen are the What Truly Matters, Living Life Consciously team is contributing a chapter to that book. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that that because of being in a group and being accountable on a regular basis to a group was a very good experience for me, and inspired me believing in this bigger project. So
I'm thrilled to hear that, Aeriol. You know, I relate to you saying you're a loner, and you know, one of the silver linings of the coronavirus situation has really been, for me, an opportunity to connect with a lot more people in a very different way. And so I'm aware of how much in my life I did keep myself separate. You know, this is a growth opportunity for me. And the guides have been very steady for many, many years, reminding us that it isn't a going it alone lifetime. And I think that's partly because, you know, collaboration is one of the tenets of the fifth dimension. And so, you know, in the fifth dimension, we're going to experience a level of oneness and collaboration globally that we haven't yet pulled off on Earth. And we can do that in the microscopic level, you know, in our communities, until that expands out and we start to see ourselves not as a separate country, but as a united world. I'm so
Agree. I feel like I've been living in the fifth dimension for a long time before this has happened. And I think that I had some resistance because I'm like, oh, sure, everybody's going to cooperate. Oh, sure, it's going to be like that. Because I feel that I've had visions of projects and visions of things. I've had my practice opportunities a lot, and a lot of them. I'm not saying that I'm special. I'm just talking about my personal experience. And I think that when we started talking about this big shift, I think I was a little skeptical, even though I saw the evidence, because I feel like, oh, this again.
I know.
And are people really going to show up this time? Is this really going to happen? And lo and behold, my little earth brain got wowed when we all had to go inward with the coronavirus and the situations that are happening in the big picture world. So I had to bust through my own, I'm like, oh, sure, this is going to happen. I wasn't trying to call that into action, believe me, but it's been an interesting awakening and seeing how my part and how everyone's part, I'm a big heart. I want to play with everybody. But I do still have this lone wolf, and my heart was broken because, there's been, I keep preaching, and it feels like it's falling on deaf ears. And now I feel like everybody's there. And they're like, oh yeah.
Exactly. No, I relate to that.
My interjection, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds so strange, but there is a sense of relief for me that this is actually now very clearly visible, and nobody can deny that it's happening. We've never had a phenomenon like, the entire world being shut down and being quiet. It's just, giving the chance to the waters to cleanse and purify, and the air quality has never been cleaner over San Francisco.
Beautiful? It's beautiful.
Yeah, the earth is rebalancing. And, I feel like you, I've been a town crier. I first heard about this shift very early in life. In my early 20s, I was told it was going to happen in my lifetime, which actually thrilled me at the time. And like you, I feel like I've been a town crier, getting people ready to really show up in a different way. Because, I see that the shift has been, from the third dimension and really the corresponding third chakra attributes. We've been in a time in the world where we've been power struggling. We've been overpowering people. We've been clashing in a battle of wills. How many times have we said to ourselves, can't we all just get along? Right. And we're shifting into the heart, where, it's heart-centered power, heart-centered will. And that means win-win is the only correct solution. Win-lose is back in 3D. And so, with this huge, massive support from the higher worlds who have, tremendous investment in us succeeding this lifetime and pulling it off, not only for our own sakes, but we are the densest planet in our galaxy. So we're holding our own galaxy back. We've had several attempts that have all failed in the past, and we cannot fail this time. This is absolutely it. And I think that, as you say, more and more people now are waking up. And it's not so much in the words even, it's in the energy. And I've been aware of that too, hanging out in the fifth dimension a lot of times where, we get a lot of, inquiries about what ascension really means. But ascension is really just raising your vibrational frequency to match the light. And so, you know, we have an opportunity this lifetime to actually change the composition of our bodies from carbon-based bodies to crystalline, light-filled bodies. We're acquiring a light body. And so, you know, I'm always amazed, really, when I go out into the world and so many people comment on my light. You know, it's just like a charisma that, you know, one acquires, one acquires. And imagine how beneficial that is in life. I mean, people want to work with you, want to be friends with you, want to be around you, want to be in your presence, because really and truly, when you're in fifth dimensional energy, you change the vibrational frequency of any room that you are in. It's palpable. So it is, you know, it's a relief, it's thrilling. Yes, we're in an incredible time of uncertainty, but we're learning to trust our inner guidance. And that's, I think, one of the really big differences between the third dimension and the fifth dimension. In the third dimension, you see that guru, that God, that source energy, whatever it is that you know, it goes by many names, but we see it outside of ourselves. So we're always seeking, we're always looking outside of ourselves for the answers. And in the fifth dimension, you absolutely know that the guru source energy is within, that you are a spark of the divine. And this is where, again, the coronavirus comes in. We've been keeping ourselves too noisy, too busy, to slow down enough to actually listen to our soul's whispers. Because when we are quiet and go into, you know, a zone that we could call the wordless zone. Martha Beck has talked about this. The wordless zone is connected to the oneness zone. And when you're in the wordless and oneness zone, you can actually manifest a very different way. You don't manifest by saying to source energy, I want to do this. I want to bring in this amount of money. You say to source energy, not help me with what I want, but in the fifth dimension, you actually open to source energy and ask, what would you have me do? What would you have me contribute? And then those soul's whispers come in the form, they get stimulated through imagination, and they come into form without pushing or forcing anything. So we're starting to live our life differently and find that it's a heck of a lot easier living this way than the old push and control and fight for your share kind of way.
But there's an absolute call to action to slow down and rest.
Yes.
And I think, this is just my theory as a healer, I think it has to do with theta brain waves and the vagus nerve connection. I think that all of this has to do with getting in that state of mind of being relaxed, connected to your source energy, and as you teach the heart-centered grounding, it's it's shifting yourself into that state, and being aware when you're not in the state, right? Or scrambling in panic trying to look for the state, like you said. I love it. Can you give our listeners a super tip? What can you share with them today if they are wanting to get connected like this and have a piece of this serenity for themselves?
Beautiful. Well, two things really. The first is I would like to invite anyone listening to receive the heart-centered grounding process. And I'd like to offer that for free. It's when you go to our website, whattrulymatters.com/products, you'll see the heart-centered grounding, and just enter all your information. But when it asks for a coupon code, enter the words bonus. and it will reduce your cost to zero. I share that because there is no other way that I know of keeping yourself centered and connected to yourself and in the present moment. So simply stated, the grounding and centering gives you a way to connect with those new higher frequencies of the earth. Now, the energy of the earth is the energy of dynamic aliveness. So imagine when you fill every cell of your body with the dynamic energy of aliveness. And then you also connect with source energy. You bring down all the energy that is designed to support you in your soul's journey, to help you and to partner you in fulfilling your purpose and destiny. And that's where those soul's whispers come down. And then you literally flood and bathe every cell of your body in these highest of all frequency energies. Now, you know, I like to say this about the virus, you know, there's always going to be a virus. It's not the virus that we have to worry about, it's the terrain. So if your nervous system, if your immune system, your circulatory systems are all strong, you don't get sick. And so imagine bathing every cell of your body, including all your lungs, all your breathing apparatus, your immune system, with these highest of all frequency energies. But then you actually overflow your physical form with this huge golden oval energy field that is filled with all your divine birthright gifts, with that dynamic energy of aliveness. And this is the energy field you get to walk in every day and sleep in every night. It's like walking in your own field of energetic integrity. You're absolutely at your best. You're connected to all your resources at one time. Your intuition, your intellect, your innate wisdom of your body, as well as its strength, and to your feelings. So when a decision comes up, you have all the resources. You know, if you're not connected to all your resources, you tend to only be in your mind, and then, you know, you're limiting all the rest of the information you have. And then we protect that energy field with a layer of discernment, and then a layer of protection. And then finally, you literally light up your 12 solar chakras, because that keeps you permanently connected to source energy and permanently connected to the energies of the earth. So I know of no other simple technique. It takes a few moments, really. It's all breathing and visualization that you do twice a day, and you just set the energy of your day, and then in the early evening, you refill and refresh so that you've got energy for your evening. So that is my super tip. And if you're not even ready for that, I would just say this also, that when you breathe shallowly, and you know, there are very few people who really do complete breathing. I mean, when was the last time that you really, really filled your lungs with your breath? Most of us do not. When you breathe shallowly, you actually keep yourself in fight or flight. You keep yourself in anxiety, and your body wastes a lot of hormones trying to keep you feeling safe. So it's not actually healthy to keep yourself in that state of mind. So if you find that if you don't get the grounding and you still want to have a plus, then just remember, when you feel anxious, start taking some nice, deep, full breaths, and follow your breath. Follow the inhale all the way in, follow the exhale all the way out, and you will find yourself restored to a level of calm that you can then act. So it's all in the breath.
Beautiful. Always go back to the breath. So wonderful. Aimee, it's so amazing to spend some time with you. I am so grateful that we have this opportunity to connect. Can you please tell our listeners one more time where they can reach out to you if they would like to get some more of this juicy energy?
Great. So if you'd like to email me personally, it's Aimee, and that's spelled Aimee. It does have an accent on it, but not in my email. So you might think of it as Amy, but it's Aimee because it is the French pronunciation, which always tickles me, an English woman with a French name living in America.
I love that rainbow flavor.
Exactly. So Aimee at whattrulymatters.com. And just be careful with that what truly, there's 2 T's in there. So then you'll connect with me, and I'd love to hear from you.
So wonderful. I want to thank you so much, Aimee, for spending time with us and for sharing your process of the heart-centered grounding with our listeners. I will make sure to have all of those links in the show notes below so everybody can lean in and get a copy of that process for themselves.
Beautiful.
Until next time, everybody, this is Aeriol signing off from Healing Body, Mind, and Soul. Until next time, happy healing.